Welcome back. You're watching Startup Central with me, Nayantara, working from home. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated to startups, innovation, technology, disruption, entrepreneurship. Now, what we saw yesterday was an important announcement coming in from MobiKwik, which said that it was elevating its Senior Vice President Chandan Joshi to co-founder status. So according Chandan Joshi, the co-founder status. This was also being done as a precursor, for many believe, as for an IPO in 2022. So with this, MobiKwik joining many other startups to go in for an IPO in the near future, whether it's PhonePe, which has announced it, Zomato recently, Grofers, for example, has also been talking about it, Delivery has been talking about it. But there's also another trend that MobiKwik has followed, and that is of according co-founder status to senior executives. Who else has done it? Well, Zomato did it twice with Mohit Gupta as well as Gaurav Gupta. Ananth Narayanan, when he joined Medlife, he was given co-founder status. Pranay Jivrajka, employee at Ola, was also given the founding team status. Varun Sadana was given the same status at Lucious. Why does this happen? And you know, I don't know if you knew about it, so this is a little did you know for all of our viewers. Did you know that Elon Musk wasn't the founder of Tesla? Elon Musk became the co-founder of Tesla after winning a lawsuit settlement in 2009. So what is all of this about? When should senior executives be given co-founder status? When should a startup go in for this? If you're a founder, is this something you need to do, or are ESOPs enough? I'm going to be discussing that and more with one of the people who decided to go down this route. Yes, my next guest is MobiKwik, the original co-founder, Bipin, who is joining us. Bipin, thanks so much for joining us here on ET Now. So can I ask you, what prompted you to elevate Chandan to co-founder?
So I think, for us, it was a very straightforward decision because, we've been thinking of expanding our leadership team, our management team as we, build a company which will hopefully last for the next 20-30 years. And for almost 9 to 10 years, it's myself and Upasana who have shouldered all the responsibilities of building this company with the help of the competent management team. But we realized that, as we build this out and we are still in a startup phase, it's critical if we have more people who think like an entrepreneur and take more responsibilities. Now, you can say that something like that basically is a CXO role, which is what Chandan has become now. He was anyway the senior vice president for the entire payments business unit, but now he's been made the CEO of the payments business. But after watching him work over the last 2.5 years, we realized that he's doing as good a job as I or Upasana are in taking this company forward. And if we want to, make Chandan invested completely in the growth of the company as a co-owner, as a co-founder, then giving this title, essentially, it's a very emotional decision. It's a very sentimental decision. The co-founder title itself, doesn't result in any compensation. That is definitely completely separate. I mean, we still get ESOPs, we still get equity, we still get all the cash, salaries, etc. But co-founder title is something that cannot be given easily at all. But I think only the entrepreneurs can sense, if there is a person in their company who's acting like a co-founder and showing all the traits of a co-founder, which is taking ownership, always thinking of new ideas, always, doing things like what you expect the co-founder to do, then I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think, therefore, we went ahead and made this decision.
But then why not ESOPs? or a higher compensation? I'm just trying to understand, this is a trend that we've been seeing. So I thought, let's find out more about it. Like I just did a Did You Know with our viewers. Elon Musk wasn't the founding member of Tesla, for example. What becomes a clincher? At what stage? Is it just because you're overworked and somebody is working really well? It can't be just that, right?
We are certainly overworked, but I don't think that is the only reason. I think the thing is that I believe that adding a co-founder like how Chandan has been added to the team results in more ideas. Ultimately, I and Upasna, we have ways of thinking. Both of us have strategies in terms of how to grow the business. And though we have a good business model, but we still have a long way to go. I think we can build this business fantastically well for the next 5 to 10 years. So, certainly you can get a CXO or a, chief business officer or a CEO or somebody who can, do that job as a professional. And certainly compensation is something that you would have to offer to a CXO as well. Right? I mean, a CXO would also be offered a cash compensation, increased cash compensation, stock benefits, ESOPs, etc. But I think co-founder is very, very special because, it has to come from within. The fact that you care about the brand and the company so much that you treat it like your own baby. And you are willing to do anything and everything to move the company forward. That special extra is what we saw in Chandan, and I'm sure that's what other companies also.
It's what Bipin Nicholas Taleb would say: skin in the game. Is what Nicholas Taleb would say, right? Having skin in the game. But like I said, it's something that we have been seeing of late. Zomato's done it twice over. You've seen Lucious do it. Medlife has done it. Swiggy had also done it a few years ago, I remember. So Bipin, the other question I want to ask you is that you can, taking off from what you said, you can always hire a professional. But should a founder also be a CEO? I know that's a raging debate. What is the best way, according to you, to decide that? Because you've also decided to give Chandan Joshi the title of CEO for the payments business, which is your most lucrative business.
Right. No, I think, a CEO obviously is somebody who's responsible for everything from strategy to products to sales to team building, etc. So a CEO title, somebody who's a CEO is basically the whole and soul of the business. And in this case, that's what, was observed in case of Chandan, that he put his entire might, his entire intellect into making MobiKwik successful. The success that we have had in the last 2 years, growing more than 100% revenues year on year, clocking almost close to 400 crores revenue in the last 1 year was certainly, one of the big contributing factors was Chandan. He thinks like a business owner in terms of cost. So we are one of the most capital efficient startups in India. As you know, we just, had a cash loss of less than 8 crores for the entire financial year last year. And that was possible only because we had a competent professional like Chandan. Now, he can continue like a CEO or continue like a senior vice president, and things can go on. But I think where the special sauce comes is essentially you give the CEO title to somebody who you can see that they can actually handle the entire business end to end, and also there has to be a certain amount of chemistry. Kind of wavelength has to match between the co-founders. Now, I think we are fairly confident that myself, Upasna, and Chandan, as 3 co-founders, have an excellent wavelength match. We think alike, and we work like co-founders, and so therefore, giving him the CEO title made a lot of sense. And I think that there is no harm in getting people from outside and giving them really high positions or even the highest
Bipin,
position.
if I could just interrupt there. I wanted to just interrupt there and ask you one more thing that struck me while I was talking to you. So now, you know, I understand that things are far more linear and all of that in the startup universe. But for all practical purposes, you were Bipin's boss, right? And I mean, sorry, you were Chandan's boss. And now all of you are going to be partners. And that requires a big shift psychologically as well and in the way things work. So I'm sure you must have analyzed other startups that have done it, spoken to others who have gone in for this. Or am I overestimating the change that is required?
Certainly, we have observed this trend in other startups. I'm aware of Zomato. I'm aware of other brands also who have done it. And I think it's a call that is not easily taken. And it's not something that you can plan and select somebody. I think it has to be seen in action, like we saw it in action. All the traits in terms of leadership and commitment, conviction, it's not something that you can get just by paying somebody a salary or even stock compensation. I think that it has to come somewhere from within, that sense of pride and the sense of loyalty and the sense of ownership into the brand. And you can experience only if you are, part of that journey together. I find it a little more challenging to do this if you have to hire somebody from outside and straight away, give them this title. But having seen Chandan in action for 2.5 years, we actually, when we thought about it, during the lockdown, we said that this absolutely made sense for the company, and there was a full support from the board. Of course, we proposed, but our board of directors fully endorsed it. Our team has reacted very, very positively to it. It shows that, if you take enough ownership, then you can reach the top, even if you have not started a company. You can be the co-owner or co-founder of a company, even if you have not started it. So I think that's a pretty powerful message to send to a lot of startups and a lot of team, including our own team at MobiKwik.
Bipin, thanks so much for joining us here. The idea for getting you here today was also all the startups, entrepreneurs, senior executives watching to learn from this. We have seen a couple of startups going for this. It does happen globally. So we want to just get inside your mind and figure out the various checks that you have to make to go in for such a big move. You're making an outsider into an insider. Thanks so much for joining us on this edition of Startup Central. Here's wishing you and the entire team at MobiKwik all the very best. Right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break. At 10:30 p.m. yesterday, I don't know about you, but I was certainly watching the Apple Time Flies event for all the lunches and what all Tim Cook had to say. So is the new iPad Air, the new iWatch, worth your money? What do you make of the iOS 14? I'm going to be discussing that and a lot more with Daniel Gleason from Omdia, who's going to be joining us all the way from London. Stay tuned.